All right, welcome back to the garage, part 4 on the KFX400. As you can see, Massachusetts is just it's a wet, sloppy mess. It's been like this all summer. It's like living in Seattle around here. Anyway, let's get back to where we left off. Where we left off, if you guys remember, it was aggravating because I had the wrong main bearings. But I did swap them out already, and let's take a look at where we're at. So as you can see now, these are flush with the cases, and the balancer now spins without hitting anything, and the crank is nice and free. Well, if I can keep that from moving, let's see. Anyway, nice and free. Transmission's in, everything looks good there. It's all moving nicely. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to put the cases back together. Alright, first we got to install the oil screen, and we're going to use this one here and not that one. So this is the one we're going to use. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to hit it with compressed air and brake clean, and we're going to install it. Alright, we're going to put the screen back in. As you guys can see, I cleaned it up really nice and clean. And basically there's no gasket on this, it just goes down on top of the surface here, like so. And a couple of screws, which I'm going to Loctite in because I don't want these to come out. Oh man, a little too much Loctite there. Let me wipe that off. Alright. This one goes in. And we'll put some on this. Apparently the hole was bigger than I thought. And the blue is removable, not permanent. All right. That ain't coming out. Alright, now I'm going to put just a little bit of red grease on a Q-tip, and I'm going to just kind of coat the dowel pin holes so that there's grease in there. Before I start sealing this all up, I want to oil everything that I can. Alright guys, we're going to permatext everything in here, all the surfaces that need it, and I'm going to show you the surfaces. So all of this is going to get permatext, okay? This in here is going to get permatext. This little spot right here, if you don't permatext that, it's going to leak through the screw. Same as over here. We need to permatext this little area here, all this, all the way around. Basically just going to put it on my finger, and what I like to do is just dab it. You don't want to put too much on here because, as you saw from the other screen that I took off of here, this stuff will go down inside the engine, and it's not what you want. Alright guys, I only usually do one side of a case halve. I don't usually do more than that, and there's a reason for it because I don't know, I've never had a leak. And the less of the stuff you use, the better, because you don't want it to get down inside of the areas that you don't want it down inside of, namely inside the engine, because you can clog up the screen, and then you're going to starve the engine for oil and all that, and we don't want to do any of that. So any extra that you touch on something, you want to wipe off. You want to look around if anything get on gears or anything, and I did a pretty good job of not getting it on anything. And I'll show you guys where we're at. You can see that I have a nice even coat all the way around, down inside on that, around here, down and around. So we're in good shape. So now I'm going to set this other case half on here. Alright, the seals are in. I didn't show it because it's simple. You just push them in till they're flush. These three here I just put in. So what I'm going to do now is, I'll put some oil on the seals just because I don't want them to tear when they go through. It's not going to hurt. If anything, it's going to help. We'll probably have to tap it down a little bit. There we go. It's not really going down on this side. There we go. All right, we're all the way down. Now I think what I want to do is just put some screws in here snug. Now, I think I might want to, is there another one? There. Put another one in. Alright, that should be good for now. Should keep us to where we need to be. Transmission spins nice. I think what I want to do is put a couple of screws on this side. Just for now. Alright, all the screws are in now. And you can see that the Permatex is oozing out. Alright guys, while I'm waiting for this to tack up a little bit more, as you can see there, it's still a little bit tacky. I'm going to torque it in a second, but I put this on there, and now I'm going to put the reverse indicator neutral safety on here because it's just easier to do it now without losing these springs and stuff because it's on its side than it would be in the bike. Let's work on torquing this up so that we can set that Permatex. Alright, so that's all tight now. Cases should be good. Let's double check everything, make sure everything still spins nice. Crank spins nice. Transmission spins, we're good to go. Right now what I want to do is I want to put some oil down around the main bearings here. The crank. Down in here. Alright, now that I have the engine cases together, I want to prep this surface up here. I want to stone this, so I'm going to do that now. I think that should do it. All right, that takes all the high spots off, makes it nice and flat, and I think we're good to go on that now. Just give it one more wipe. A little bit of degreaser. All right, the top of this is all prepped for the cylinder. I think that we're going to put the cylinder on the bench here, We're not going to torque it, obviously. We'll torque it when it's in the frame, but I think I want to mount the cylinder, put the piston in and everything. But I got to put these two studs back in, so I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to Loctite them, screw them in. Okay, so the gaskets that came, the bike came with two sets of gaskets. A complete engine gasket set, which looks like a cheap Chinese one. And then the Athena, which is a better brand. So these gaskets, it came with two different base gaskets. This is a double gasket right here, which means there's two connected together, and then a standalone, which I guess you could put them together to make three. Now this one here, I don't know if you guys can see that blemish right there. I'll get a flashlight maybe, get a better look. See that blemish right there? That's gonna create thickness, so I don't want to use that gasket. The Athena comes two ways also. So that's the head gasket. We don't want that one yet. Came with two base gaskets. A single, and then this one here, which is a triple. If you guys can see that. Let me try to open it up so you can see it. Okay? A triple. Now, this is why you always save what you take off the bike. You always save the gaskets that you take off. That way you can cross-reference them later. And this is the base gasket I took off the bike, and it is indeed a triple. So I'm not going to use the cheap Chinese one. I'm going to use the Athena. So here's the piston, and I did mark the rings which side up was. So we're just going to reinstall them. The one with the ridge was the top, and the one without the ridge was the bottom. So let's install these back onto the piston. Alright. That one's on there. Let's install this one. Hopefully I'm doing this on camera so you guys can see it. Okay. Oh, that one's in. Alright, let's make sure that we mark these so that these two oil rings are very close together, which we don't want. So I'm going to move one. Alright, let's make sure that we don't have these anywhere near each other. That should work like that. Alright guys, I'm working the cylinder now. So I did hit this with a stone real quick, cleaned it up. I'm going to do it again. The base is all cleaned up, ready to go. Now I'm just going to scuff the bore with a piece of Scotch-Brite and some WD-40. And let me show you how I'm going to do that real quick. Set you guys up on a stand here. You can watch. And it's pretty simple. This is Nickel plated, so you don't want to hone it. And it's pretty simple. You just want to give it some cross hatching for the rings to seat. That's all. And possibly clean up any glazing that may be in there. And again, you don't want to get carried away with this. And you can see I'm going at sort of an angle. Now I'm going to go the other way. Try to get crisscross. That should do it. I'll wipe it down, show you what it looks like. You don't need to get carried away. And if you guys can see in there, you can see that little scratches that I put in there. And that should do what we needed to do. Alright, so I'm going to go back to stoning the top of this, get it real nice. And then I'm going to brake clean the whole thing and come back when I'm ready to assemble. let's put the nozzle back in. Now the gasket. Alright, gasket's on. You guys can see here how nice and clean that is now. Top surface is nice, bottom surface is nice. The cylinder, spotless. Now what I like to do is I like to oil the cylinder because it is dry, because I put the brake clean through there and cleaned it all up. You want some type of a lubricant in there. You don't want it dry. There we go. We're in. Alright. Pistons in. Now I'm just going to make those hand tight. Actually, I think what I want to do now is I want to put the oil pump in. It'd be a little easy to do right now. Let's put the shifter paws back in. Alright guys, shifter paws are in. And man, I'm going to tell you right now that that was not easy. Between the spring and this, I had to take it apart like 6 times to get it back together. But it's back together now. It's shifting properly. Good to go. I also put this oil feed line back in. And there was one more bolt right here that I hadn't put in also. And I didn't notice it because I didn't see it down there. I thought that this might be an oil feed. But then when I grabbed the oil tube, the screw was still in it for the oil tube. So I took the screw out of there, and I knew I had one more screw to go somewhere, and I found it right there. So that's why I like to leave all the nuts and bolts with the particular part of the engine that they correspond with. That way there I don't forget. Alright, so now at this point here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my stone, and I'm going to clean this area all up real quick. Without, you know, nice and neat, not getting anything inside the engine. The oil pump's in, this is in, we're all set. So I'm going to clean this surface here. I'm going to clean the surface on the other side for the stator. Alright guys, got to break away from the engine for a minute. The owner of the bike is coming to drop off parts, and this subframe is rotted, and he got a new subframe. So I'm going to pull this subframe off real quick, and I'm going to let him take this with him, so it's not in the garage tying up space. Alright guys, the owner came. He brought a new shift shaft. It's not new, but it's new used, and it's not bent, and it also came with the 2 spaces for the outside. So let's install that, shall we? And I'm going to put a little bit of oil on that. Put a little oil on this, the detents and everything. Put some on this. And let's just slide it right in there, shall we? And we have this washer. Goes on there to protect the seal. And now we gotta just pop this guy on. Alright, we're going to install this now. This is the better of the 2. And we're going to oil up the O-rings. And we're just going to push that guy in there. There we go. Now, let's work on the balancer. So I have the pin that's got to go in this balancer right here. So I'm going to put that in right now. That's in there. Now let's grab the balancer gear. Alright, here's the balancer gear. And that's got to go over that pin. There we go. And we got to put the washer on, and if you can see there's witness marks. That looks exactly like that. So it goes on like that. And then we have the nut for it. I'm not going to snug this down just yet. I'm going to wait until I get all the gears in here, and we'll torque them all at once. All right, that's done. Now, let's, at this point here, I think what I want to do is put the timing chain guide in. Clean it a little bit. I'll put that in. It's got to come down inside of here. And right to there. And there's a washer on the back side, and then there's a screw on the front. I have the gear that times the balancer. All right, now I'll put this guy on there. And of course, as luck would have it, this can't be on there. Let's just get that out of the way for now. All right, now we gotta get the two dots lined up, and we should be able to slide that in. Finito. And the two dots are right here. I don't know if you guys can see them. They are lined up. Next is the timing chain gear. And that has to get keyed in. So let's do that. Here's the key. There we go. Then the next gear. Then the nut. This is left-handed. Have to pull this out. Get that in there. Put that back in. I think what I want to do is actually take this off. I think I want to put the timing chain on first. Here's our new timing chain. Let's open it up. Go ahead and put this gear back on. This is the oil pump gear. This goes on here. There's no timing involved for that. All right, we're going to tighten the bolt, the nut, I'm sorry, on the crank. I'm going to use a penny in the gear down here, just so that we can tighten it. It is left-handed, by the way. As you can see, the penny gets pretty chewed up, but it's softer than the gears, so it doesn't do any damage. But you lose your penny. Not that it really matters. All right, let's work on the clutch. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in here. And on that, this goes down first. This basket, I mean, it's in fantastic shape. One of the best I've seen. Taking these things apart. Put a little bit of oil down in there. There we go. That's in. And the reason why I tightened this first is because you can't get a socket on that once the clutch is in. This one here I'll tighten later. Not a big deal. I just got to remember to tighten it. Now this goes on. Put a little bit of oil on that. And the basket. Put a little oil on that. And the lock. And the nut. There we go. And now we're going to slide the shift rod in. And I'm going to put a little bit of oil on that. And now the pusher. Seems to be working pretty good. Now when the owner was here, I showed him that these look a little burnt. They might be okay, but we're going to use them. Because I did take it for a ride and the clutch felt fine. So I am not worried about it. I don't need to pre-oil these because they were already oiled. Alright, now the cover. I'm going to put some Earl up on that. A little bit in the Baron. Alright. And I'm going to hand start all these because I don't want to cross thread them. That should be good enough. Alright guys, here's the cover. These are all the screws that go with the cover. And like I said before, I like to keep everything together. That way I don't lose anything. This is going to require a lot of cleaning. So, let's see. And I got a new seal for this right here. So I think I am going to actually replace that right now. Let's see if I can get it to pop. There we go. Here we go. That's the metal one. I'm going to scrape the old gasket off of here. Alright guys, you can see the gasket surface is like brand new again. Stone and scraper. Alright, let's put the crank seal back in. Alright, let's put the alignment pins in. There's one, which goes right there. And number two goes right there. You guys can't see that, it's on camera. Right there. Now for the gasket. I like to tighten these by hand. I got a good feel for it. And it looks pretty good to me. Pop this guy in. All right, let's put the O-ring in there. Perfect. We don't need to kill this. Just tight is good enough. All right, now to check the water pump. You should be able to turn it. Let's make sure the side cover's on right. You should be able to turn this and crank the engine over. And I can. Okay. That's good. Now I think I want to clean this area up a little bit. I'm gonna have a smaller stone for that. All right, it's all cleaned up. New gasket going in. All right, let's hand torque them. All right, guys, we'll break away from the motor for a minute and address this rust. I mean, it looks crappy. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire wheel it, and then I'm just going to hit it with some paint just to clean it up a little bit. And I think that's what we're going to do. So let me get a wire wheel, hit that all up before I bring the motor over here and get that done for him. All right, so it looks like now. Looks good. And I just put a rag over the shock so that I didn't get paint on it. Much better. And if anybody's wondering, this is it right now. It's called plastic paint, and it's for turbos. And VHT makes it, and I think I bought this at AutoZone. So that's the color, and it is absolute perfect match for the factory frame paint on Kawasaki, Honda, and Suzuki. The same paint on all four. All right, guys, the motor's all together. Take a look at what we got. Side cover's all on. It's all ready to go in the frame. So I'm gonna stop here. Call this a video. Yeah, not bad for a hack, right? Anyway, somebody will get that joke. Yeah, so when we come back, this motor's going in the frame, and then we'll start assembling it. That'll be in the next video. But for now, I just want to thank everybody for watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. Keep it up. The wife and I love to read the comments. Some are pretty funny, actually. And yeah, anyway, keep commenting. I love it. Again, I'm not perfect. Never claimed to be. But I do the best I can with the gifts God gave me. And here it is. I'll just give you one more shot at the frame being painted up there and cleaned up. And guys, it's pretty easy. If I was to strip this frame down and give it a coat of paint, it would look brand new again. Of course, I'm not doing that. It's not my bike. But the only thing I'm here for is just to replace the cases. But anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for video 5. Video 5, we're gonna have this thing running and probably take it for a ride, and that might be the last video. Oh, also, we got a new subframe. The owner brought the subframe and a grab bar. We got rid of that other big ugly welded thing. All right, so again, thanks for watching. See you in video 5.